The cafe was buzzing with laughter, but the maid's smile wasn't real. Behind her polite bow, behind the tray of steaming tea she carried, lay years of pain, humiliation, and betrayal. No one noticed her trembling hands, no one except the man who had once destroyed her life. He thought he had broken her. But as she set the cup before him, her eyes gleamed with a promise. Tonight, she wouldn't just serve tea, she would serve justice. The world only saw Emma as a quiet maid. Every morning she polished glasses, wiped tables, and smiled at customers as if nothing in her life had ever gone wrong. But what no one knew was that she hadn't always been a maid. Emma was once the daughter of a wealthy businessman. Her father owned a successful company, and she grew up in comfort, studying in the best schools and dreaming of becoming a fashion designer. But her world came crashing down the night her father's trusted business partner, Victor, betrayed him. Victor forged documents, transferred funds, and framed Emma's father for fraud. By the time the truth came out, her father had lost everything: the company, the house, and even his health. The shame and stress broke him, and within a year, Emma's father passed away. Emma and her mother were thrown into poverty, forced to take menial jobs just to survive. Victor, meanwhile, grew richer, opening new businesses and flaunting his wealth. He walked freely, never once looking back at the family he had ruined. Emma carried the weight of her father's death like a stone in her heart. She remembered the night he died, clutching her hand and whispering, "Never forget who destroyed us." From that night on, Emma lived with one purpose: revenge. Years later, fate handed her the perfect opportunity. Victor opened a luxury cafe in the city, a place only the wealthy could afford. To everyone's surprise, Emma applied for a job there as a maid. Victor didn't even recognize her. Why would he? To him, she was just another servant, invisible, beneath his notice. But Emma never forgot his face. Day after day, she studied him. She memorized his schedule, overheard his conversations, and watched the way he treated others. Victor was arrogant, cruel, and careless. He shouted at staff, belittled waiters, and bragged to his rich friends about how clever he was in business. Emma smiled, bowed, and served tea, always polite, always silent. But in the shadows of the kitchen, she prepared her plan. She discovered that Victor's cafe wasn't just a business, it was also where he stored illegal documents, proof of his money laundering schemes. If exposed, those papers could destroy him the same way he had destroyed her father. Emma knew she couldn't do it alone. She reached out to a journalist who had once reported on her father's case. Together, they devised a trap. One rainy evening, Victor arrived at the cafe with his business partners. The room was filled with laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the smell of expensive cigars. Emma approached the table, balancing a silver tray with teacups. Her heart pounded, but her face remained calm. She set the cup in front of Victor and whispered just loud enough for him to hear. "Do you remember William Hayes?" Victor froze. That was her father's name. Slowly, his eyes rose to meet hers, and for the first time, he recognized her. The maid's polite smile turned into something sharper, something cold. Victor's hand trembled. "You," he muttered. Emma leaned closer. "Enjoy your tea, Mr. Victor. It will be your last taste of freedom." At that moment, police sirens wailed outside. Officers stormed into the cafe, led by the journalist. They carried files Emma had secretly taken from Victor's office. The cafe erupted in chaos. Customers screamed, chairs toppled, and Victor was dragged from his seat in handcuffs. He shouted, cursed, and tried to deny everything, but the evidence was undeniable. His empire crumbled in a single night. Emma stood silently in the corner, her tray still in her hands. For years, she had dreamed of this moment, and now it had come. Justice was finally served. As Victor was shoved into the police car, he looked back at Emma. Her eyes were calm, her smile soft, but this time, it wasn't the smile of a servant. It was the smile of victory. The world saw only a maid. But that night, Emma proved she was something far greater. She was her father's daughter, and she had avenged his name. And from then on, whenever someone entered that cafe, they would whisper about the quiet maid who brought down a king.